The movie begins in a jail, where we meet the main character, known to everyone as Arthur or Joker. He appears weak, having been deprived of proper food and water. We also learn the reason why Arthur, the Joker, ended up imprisoned. Actually, he had killed 5 people in public, for which he was punished. Although he had killed 5 people, the way he killed them made him famous among people. At that time, he was fully in character as the Joker, complete with the Joker's clothing and makeup, which made him so famous that a TV film was also made on him. Many people like that TV film, who are all fans of the Joker. Now they believe that Joker Arthur is innocent and that he did a good job by killing those 5 people because they were all evil. They often tormented Arthur and made fun of him, which drove him to take this drastic step. However, from everyone else's perspective, he is a criminal because he has killed people. Arthur has been in jail for a long time, and it's uncertain how many more years he will remain imprisoned, as his case has not yet been heard in court to determine the length of his sentence. Now, poor Arthur was not at peace anywhere. He was worried about the people because everyone used to bother him and bully him. After arriving in jail, he grew tired of the police, as they also mocked him. Now, Arthur's lawyer calls him to meet him, so he leaves, but when he is on the road, he sees a girl, whom Arthur looks at very carefully. That girl was also not taking her eyes off Arthur. Upon closer inspection, she points at him as if she's about to shoot. This girl's name is Lee, but the police take Arthur from there and then meet his lawyer, who is going to handle his case. Now, on the one hand, his lawyer was fighting Arthur's case, but at the same time taking advantage of him. As Arthur was very famous today, he was heard everywhere. So taking advantage of this, the lawyer brings some reporters here with her to interview Arthur. She just tells him that they will ask you a few questions, and you have to tell them about yourself. Now, Arthur listens to her and comes to the interview room. Now, he didn't want to do this because he didn't like the reporters, but listening to his lawyer, he had to give this interview because he also wanted to get out of jail. Now, during the interview, he is asked some questions that he does not like at all. He answers those questions, but he is also furious inside because the bad time that had passed was being refreshed in front of him, which puts him in trouble, but still he answers all the questions truthfully. Now, the second reason for the interview was to check Arthur, which means his interviews will continue every day, because they wanted to check whether Arthur's mental condition has improved or not. Many people believe that Arthur is crazy, a crazy Joker, and has killed 5 people in his madness. So in the name of the interview, they have to check his condition. Now, after the interview, when Arthur was brought back to jail, a police officer took him to the musical room where everyone was playing their own music. That girl Lee was also there, and this is how both met. Both were happy to meet each other because since they had seen each other, they wanted to meet. Arthur asks Lee, "Why are you imprisoned here?" Lee says, "In the building where I used to live with my mother. I came there in a fit of anger and set it on fire and burned the whole building, because of which my mother also died. That's why I was punished and I'm here." Hearing this, Arthur starts laughing loudly because it is his habit. Then Lee asks him, "Why are you here?" Arthur says, "What are you talking about? You don't know how I am here. Everyone knows that I have killed 5 people, in which crime I am being punished." Now, they used to meet daily and become friends. One day, Lee even tells Arthur that let's both run away from here, but he says no. "I can't do this because they will shoot me." Lee starts liking him, and she wants to run away from her and spend the rest of her life with Arthur. It wouldn't be obvious if he refused, which is why Lee feels a bit hurt. Now, at this time, she was sitting with Arthur in the theater. She takes out her anger in such a way that she sets fire to the back of the theater. When people sitting in the theater find out about the fire, they start running away from here. The whole hall was empty. Only Lee and Arthur were there, but they didn't run away from the fire. They stay there, and both of them express their love here. Not only Lee, but Arthur also falls in love with her. After this, they both ran and came to the ground. They both pretend to run away from here, but then the officers come and catch them and start dragging them from there. Instead of being worried, they start laughing. This meant that both were the same, and Arthur enjoyed this moment so much that he started laughing like crazy. Now, when Arthur was brought back to the jail, Lee also comes to his cell with the help of a guard, and they again spend time together. She says to Lee, "I want to see you in the Joker's form." She will also bring makeup with her. With their help, she does his makeup and makes him look like a joker. After that, they enjoy it a lot. Now the next day, the lawyer comes to meet Arthur again because she wants to take another interview with him. She brings the best reporter with her so that she can find out about his mental condition through questions. Now Arthur did not want to talk about his past because he used to get disturbed. He used to feel bad, but this reporter used to ask questions about his past again and again. Now he had also killed his mother, about which this reporter started asking, but after hearing this, Arthur got so disturbed that he started getting angry at the reporter, although before that he was sitting quietly. Lee's punishment was completed, she was released, and now she is watching Arthur's interview on TV. After this interview, Arthur was going to be presented in court, and when he was being taken, then his fans who loved him lined up on the streets who was calling Arthur, and here they came to support him because they wanted Arthur to get out of jail as soon as possible and also lived a free life. He also has the right to live because the people he killed deserved it, and this should be the fate of individuals like them. When Arthur came to the court, he also sees Lee among his fans. Both are happy to see each other. The hearing started, and the second lawyer stood up. He starts speaking against Arthur that he has done wrong and killed 5 people on the public train. After this, Arthur's lawyer stood up and started speaking in his favor. Arthur Joker has always spent his life alone in a room. He is innocent. He did not say anything to those 5 people, but what did they do? They tortured Arthur. Then what would that poor man do? He killed them for his protection because his mind is like a child. He does what he thinks is right. The second lawyer says whatever it is, whatever he killed, he is a murderer. He has committed a crime, so he should be punished. He has no right to roam free. Anyway, now listening to these 2 lawyers, the judge extends the date. When Arthur's lawyer comes out, Lee comes to her and says the way you are fighting Arthur's case, he will lose. He will be punished. You have to fight this case well and somehow get him free. Now when Arthur was put back in jail, his lawyer comes and meets him and starts asking about him about Lee. Arthur says she is a very good girl, I love her and trust her. Then the lawyer says, what do you know about her? She is deceiving you because look, she said her parents have died, but the truth is that her dad is a doctor and both mom and dad are alive. Along with this, Arthur also finds out that Lee had not been punished, but she was deliberately imprisoned in the jail by giving money as a prisoner so that she can meet Arthur. Now one day when Lee came to meet Arthur in jail, then he asks her about this. Lee says, yes, you are right, my mom and dad are alive and I lied to you and also kept the secret that I deliberately gave money and disguised myself as a prisoner in jail, so I didn't mean anything wrong, I just wanted to meet you because I started liking you and I want to free you from here. So that after getting out of here both of us can live a happy life. Look, what can I do? It's not my fault. I have seen your TV film about 20 times. I have fallen in love with you and now no matter what happens I will get you out of jail. After which both of us will live together, okay? Arthur also agrees happily, and now that day also comes when Arthur is in the court. Today Arthur's neighbor came to testify for him. She said that I and Arthur's mom used to meet often, and that day when Arthur was beating his mother I also saw it all in front of my eyes. Seeing Arthur like this, I was scared, so I came to another city to save my child, but when I found out that Arthur was in jail, then I felt very bad and I came to testify for him because he has always been wronged. He never wanted anyone to be bad, and yes, when Arthur was beating his mother at that time he was in the Joker's getup. Then I realized that this is not Arthur but he is a Joker. That's why I believe that all the murders were not done by Arthur but the hidden Joker inside him whom people have forced. Hearing this, Arthur felt a surge of courage. He became so overwhelmed that he stood up in front of everyone and shouted, declaring to the judge, I want to represent myself in this case. I don't need a lawyer. By saying this, he leaves his lawyer and goes away. Lee was also very happy with this decision because she felt that the Joker has done the right thing. Now the day comes when he will be presented in court. His lover standing outside was desperate to hear the final decision about the Joker. Arthur now comes as his lawyer. Then he decides to fight this case as a Joker, that's why in the Joker's getup, wearing clothes and makeup, and sitting there very comfortably. As the hearing began, his against lawyer came with Arthur's co-worker who worked with Arthur for many years and knew him well. This clearly shows how unhinged Arthur is and what he transforms into when he embodies the Joker. He says when the Joker killed those people on the train, I saw it all happening because we both got on the train together. Hearing this, Arthur Joker stood up and said, "Okay. Tell me when I was killing them, so whom did you see?" Then he also says the same thing, that I saw the Joker inside Arthur who was killing them. Following this testimony, Arthur loses control once more and begins to speak out against the police. He says they are such that they don't need any witnesses, no need for any evidence. Whatever they get, whether he is a criminal or not, they pick him up and lock him in jail, and if the police had come at the right time on that day, then they should consider whose fault it is. "I wouldn't have done it either," Arthur said, placing the blame squarely on the police. With that, today's testimony was deemed sufficient, and the date was extended once again. When poor Arthur went back to jail, the police took him to teach him a lesson, because today he said so much against the police. So everyone was furious at him, and they beat him a lot to punish him. After beating him a lot, they bring him back to his cell and leave him. 2 days later, the hearing day comes again. Today Lee had come in the form of a Joker because she had full hope that today Arthur would get released. We can clearly see disappointment on the Joker's face in Arthur's form because he had given up. He finally says, "Yes, I agree. I have done a lot of wrongs and I am ashamed of this. I confess my sin." Listening to this, Lee gets so angry that she leaves the court with her people because she doesn't want the Joker to give up and accept this thing in front of the court, but because he had accepted his sin, this case is over anyway, and now it was time to punish him. That's why he comes back to his normal from the Joker and doesn't know what he thinks. He starts laughing loudly. Now, seeing him laughing like this, the people against him get angry and start beating Arthur, but he doesn't stop laughing. He was inside the court. Meanwhile, there was a big explosion because of his laughter, because of which the whole court was destroyed. Some people died in this incident while many people were lying there injured. Now Arthur came out of the court. Somehow he saw his fan at the same destroyed place, who was also in the Joker's form. He recognizes Arthur, that he is the real Joker, and starts taking him with him to help him. He was putting Arthur in the car and was taking him far away from there. He wanted to help the Joker by doing this, but during this, their car got stuck in the traffic, and don't know why Arthur got out of the car and started running. After running far, he sees Lee in front of him. Arthur goes to her and says, "Let's go from here now. Let's go somewhere far away and we'll live there by creating our world there, because I don't know how the explosion happened in the court, and I ran away from there." Hearing this, Lee says, "No, this can't happen now, because the one I loved can't be you. I loved a fearless, brave person, but I didn't know that you are one of those who give up so soon. You disappointed me a lot by accepting your mistake in front of everyone. You should have stayed strong and stubborn. So now I have decided that I can't spend my life with you. You are a coward. Do you know? I am pregnant, and we would have got married early. I considered it, but I still don't want to live with you, as I don't want my child to be a coward for a father." Saying this, Lee leaves and poor Arthur stands there. He was completely broken by Lee's words. He didn't understand anything. What should I say now? And what should I do? He stood there even when Lee left, but the police came there and caught him again, and once again he was put in jail. Now a man in jail who was against Arthur came to meet him on the pretext. On the pretext of singing, he takes him aside and attacks Arthur with a dangerous weapon which injures Arthur a lot. He started bleeding. He fell crying and his eyes were closed. He was not moving at all. Looking at him, it seemed that he was dead. Now, is Arthur Joker dead? What do you think? Do share your opinion in the comment box. With this, the story concludes.